How they feel about the Blue Devils. Needless to say, anytime Duke touches the floor during March Madness, people are watching and most likely hoping for a loss. Duke, in this year as a 2 seed, were a part of the opening magic that inspired the top 10. So would that be top 10 goals by players whose names started with Ron? How about top 10 great soccer goals? Or how about the top 10 plays done in a pair of shorts? Actually, none of the above. Instead, Ronaldinho's bicycle kick inspired the top 10 bike-related moments. Meanwhile, what happened to the NHL this past weekend was the equivalent of a person buying their first cell phone. From afraid of change to wondering how to deal with it. They revamped the All-Star Weekend, but they still need to figure out what a lot of the buttons do. James Duthie and our panel, well, they're finished talking about all of that and have instead shifted their focus to more pressing things like who will be dealt at the deadline and who won't win the cup. An athlete's dirty little secret, undetectable, and a definite edge on the competition. The World Anti-Doping Agency sent a clear message to athletes Thursday. They are out to end the use of the banned substance. WADA will begin testing athletes out of competition leading up to the Beijing Olympics for the first time, while an improved HGH test will be in place for those same games. The Toronto Raptors season may have been saved Wednesday night, which is a strange thing to say about a team that's headed for the postseason. But the Raps beat the Detroit Pistons. The magnitude of that win cannot be calculated. The Raps, even though they would never admit it, had lost confidence. When you haven't beat a good team since February, that will went from being his club's hero, possibly, to being their GOAT. At least Terry can blame it on the rain, and no one else in the top 10 can use a Milli Vanilli song as an excuse. Barber may be the only person that has ever called Eli Manning comical, as Eli comes across about as funny as a cup of SARS. But Tiki wasn't handing out a compliment. Tiki said comical is how Eli came across in his locker room pep talks. Manning shot back at Barber. He proved he had a backbone, and that is when the Giants became his. Rod Smith has another example of Eli's transformation as we head back to Glendale. Baseball, sweet, sweet baseball. It used to be so innocent. Now you don't know if you're going to get addicted to steroids if you watch a game. Spring training opens this week. Maybe a clean slate's going to fix everything. The top 10 spring training moments are a start. It only includes one guy accused of doing steroids and another one who did time for cocaine. Whistler is consistently one of the highest rated ski destinations in the world, but the pros fell out of love with the village after poor weather kept canceling their events. 3 straight cancellations in the 90s led to Whistler being stricken from the World Cup schedule. But with the Olympics on deck, Whistler's now back on the World Cup calendar. And they return this weekend with a local hero in tow. Sarah Galashan reports on the Queen of the Mountains homecoming. Arriving, Dregsy attempts to find out. One team feels threatened by the stampeding Buffaloes. The defending Grey Cup champs got a new coach. As Ken Austin's soul-searching departure opened the door to what could be the greatest coaching job in the league. And as Lee Jones reports, all GM Eric Tillman had to do was look to his left to find the man he wanted. Not only is the Grey Cup coming to TSN this year, we're also padding our roster with a 2-time Grey Cup champ. Dwayne Ford has joined the CFL on TSN broadcast team as a game analyst alongside Rod Black. When asked to comment, Ford said, quote, "As long as I don't have to work with Jay Onrait, I'm happy."
What? He loves me.
End quote. Mickey Renaud is never forgotten. His number 18 will be retired by the team. An official ceremony will take place for that next season. Coming up, possible investigation into Roger Clemens' lying to Congress began to bubble to the surface last week. Wednesday, it was confirmed that it will indeed happen. Congress drafted a letter asking the Justice Department to look into whether Clemens made false statements during his testimony on February 13th. Clemens' lawyers saying the committee's decision is unwarranted and not supported by facts.